Self-esteem. From the book, The Essence of the Whole. I've noticed many discouraged people, some commenting on how bad they feel and asking how they can get out of stress, depression, sadness, and anguish, or how they can give meaning to their lives. What about you? Are you happy and satisfied with your life? Do you always feel happy? How good do you feel about yourself and life? Well, we mainly feel down because of neglected self-esteem and how disconnected we are from reality. Yeah, it is not really the circumstances we experience, but the attitude we take. The thing is that we can't have a positive attitude when we don't feel good. The real culprit about how we feel and all the adverse circumstances we are witnessing everywhere is a lack of self-esteem and no moral values. Who doesn't want to live in a peaceful and happy world? I guess we also want to eradicate poverty and suffering. Right? Let me tell you that this will not come true if we don't correct the issues we have with our self-esteem and embrace values or principles. That's right. We can't have a happy and peaceful world if we still continue hurting each other with our negative attitudes and destructive behaviors. Most hostile situations and conflicts are due to low self-esteem and a lack of values. Well, let's continue by understanding what self-esteem and moral values or principles are. Our self-image has a great, significant influence on how we feel, therefore, what we get out of life. Our self-esteem is purely a mental process. It is an internal dialogue creating stories about ourselves. The value we have about ourselves is based on how we see and accept the experience we have through life. Self-esteem is vital, however, unhealthy self-esteem leads individuals to a state of great suffering and contradiction. Individuals with low self-esteem, a mental image of not being good enough, remain inside their comfort zone, and ironically, they prevent themselves from moving ahead. Instead, because of the constant contradiction experienced, they need to pursue healthy self-esteem. However, because of confusion, lack of clarity, they cover up their essence with what they achieve, possess, or become, or even compare to what they can do, their abilities, knowledge, or possessions. Paradoxically, they compare their possessions, wealth, and achievements with others, and, in their mind, come out favorably. We feel good or bad according to how we see ourselves. It is the information we have experienced and accepted about ourselves and everything else around us. Our life is created and nourished with and by stories, what we think, the images we make about ourselves and others, and how we feel, and self-esteem can't be the exception. We choose to feel down or up based on how we consciously or unconsciously choose to see ourselves, based on the attitude we decide to have. Ironically, when we are born, we start our life from scratch, from zero, with no concept of ourselves. As a result, no one is born with self-confidence, self-esteem, or self-value. Everything begins when we begin to be self-conscious and compare ourselves with others. Also, our self-confidence is determined by how we were raised, our parents, teachers, bosses, jobs, and many other relationships. Healthy self-esteem and feeling good are personal choices. We reinforce our esteem when we embrace moral values, take responsibility for our life, the images we create about ourselves, and how we love ourselves. To feel better about yourself, you can do, have, or become more than somebody else to see yourself as more significant than others. Still, the thing is that by constantly comparing yourself with others, which is very common, will put you back in the empty place you were trying to get out of. If you don't correct the issues you have with your self-esteem, you will always end up empty, useless, discouraged, and hopeless. It's not good, at all, to compare with others. The can-do-this and they-can't attitude only shows our insecurities. When we try to pretend to be other than who we are, we turn our backs on our individuality and compromise our self-esteem. Once we compete against others, our value is not placed on us but on what we become, have, and do. Erroneously, several people value their esteem by showing that many individuals who have less are worthless or can do less than them. People accumulate knowledge to get a sense of worthiness, importance, and value, but they ultimately give power to others by comparing with them. You are you, and it is what matters. We never get a benefit if we derive our sense of who we are and what we get. We still feel empty, worthless, and unreliable when we rely on what we get. Why? Because life and everything in it are changing and moving forward. We will never feel satisfied when what we get is no longer desirable. Everything is constantly transforming, there is innovation, and the rest of human beings are also part of such innovation, creation, transformation, and improvement. We are conditioned to believe we must become, have, and do to be happy. As a result, there is a very influential current in which the vast majority of society takes part and flows. They move precisely where they shouldn't even go. Still, they do it because everybody else is also doing it. Low self-esteem comes from insecurity. We could get out of this insecure state. Unfortunately, conditioning, with significant influence, in society prevents us from getting ahead. Our governmental structure is designed not to teach us to gain clarity but to blur our reality through their educational system. Imagine going through so many years of formal education that negatively influence our intelligence and choices. It is believed, for many, that we become influential by going through the whole schooling process. People feel superior because of how much information they accumulate and use it to influence others. We either like it or not. The system keeps human beings in a purposely organized human-robot factory through deceiving information. This system only creates a group of well-informed fools willing to play the system's game that, unfortunately for many, only benefits the creators of such a system. We suffer because we ignore others and accumulate much knowledge to show how good we are. So, what can we do? Well, you can play the game and continue impressing people by getting and throwing more information at them. Or you can stop relying on this influencing information. If we want to be free and feel good about ourselves, the whole game of impressing people got to go. Anyway, what is knowledge? All the information we have stored now will be worth anything in the coming years. Once artificial intelligence is everywhere, information will be meaningless. Wouldn't it be better to use the time of your life questioning to understand and get clarity about everything you want, and the information you receive? If you see life as it is, you experience reality and will not generate fearful thoughts that will bring down your self-esteem. Low self-esteem doesn't benefit anyone. Do yourself a favor, don't neglect your esteem, spend time giving yourself your undivided attention and love. Not having experience or knowledge should result in not feeling good about yourself. Trying to have, do, and become something that will make you feel important, or even trying to be confident or secure, only causes us to stay in the same rat race game. And I don't mean you shouldn't achieve anything. Of course, whoever wants to accomplish or have something should have it, but it is crucial never to assume that your value will be based on what you achieve, have, or become. We can't go through life pretending to be, have, and do what we are not and don't have. Impersonator syndrome only creates antagonism and misery. We have become a bunch of complex humans with false appearances and pretenses. Do you know what a complex means? It happens when we have assumed an idea about ourselves and reinforced it with a belief. For example, a superiority complex is when we've been thought to believe, through marketing schemes, we are inadequate, sinful, useless, incapable, and stupid, and we have to do something about it, get out of manufactured mediocrity, pretending we are better than what we are. Otherwise, we will be placed in the mediocre, failures, useless, losers, and idiots sack. Accepting these kinds of beliefs only creates insecure individuals with a superiority or inferiority complex, and makes them unconsciously confront those who are not willing to see them otherwise. Having a complex is a serious matter. It worries, stresses, scares, and makes those who don't understand life anxious. And the peer pressure is so oppressive that some people end up giving up on their fears because they have nothing to protect them from, or even from their own irrational fears and worries. The pressure of being in the fool's sack doesn't allow these individuals to escape the oppressive system, mainly because of their lack of identity and principles. Anyway, the matter is not about superiority, inferiority, or poverty complex, but the false impression we assume and portray. This game is being played because it is the only story we have been told and accepted. The stories you create about yourself or your life are just that, stories created by images that don't exist unless your feelings make you move toward them. The good news is that you don't need a solid foundation to understand who you are. Because in the long run, the circumstances will be different, and by then, what you manage to achieve or get at a moment will no longer be satisfying. It is not good to depend on anything external. People who have become and achieved may be thrilled with what they possess, but over time, they will need to fill a void that doesn't come from spiritual emptiness, but from a sense of emptiness. Do we really need to be confident, valuable, and important? No, that's pure propaganda. Please understand that you can have a failure, a mistake, or a problem, but you are none of that unless you identify with it and give yourself negative values based on your mistakes. Self-esteem means that you are reasonably satisfied with who you are, whether you are a professional, a millionaire, or have all the talents in the world, or you own nothing. The achievements you have, or not, should not be the reason for your worth as a human being. Self-confidence is knowing everything is fine and will be acceptable despite the circumstances. Regardless of the results you get in life, you will reach the top if that is the decision, commitment, and resolution you have determined. The ability to achieve everything you want is only in your mind. The true power comes when you realize that to shape something, you must first create it from your mind. All the power comes from that, but it doesn't go much beyond who you are as a human being. However, we are rooted in the formless, and that is huge. The sense of value is only the result of a person's thoughts accumulated and structured by experiences. I have heard that we are gods. And I would say that we are the continuity of something divine, dynamic, and eternal, and that should make us feel proud and keep us motivated, optimistic, and happy. We are part of a universe, as is a grain of sand, a drop of the sea, or a sun's ray. We are the universe, the sand, the ocean, and the sun, but also, because we are unique individuals, we are our character as it should be, with strengths and weaknesses. We are where we precisely should be, even though our ego enters the game where we have learned to put all our attention, awareness, and energy on the least vulnerable. We try to make ourselves more significant than others by showing people how strong we are. Really? Each of us is a manifestation and expression of the power of life. We don't need knowledge or confidence about anything, we need clarity. There is no evil, bad, stupid, or mediocre, not even good or valuable individuals, but confused people pretending to be what they are not clear about. If you are just valuable or confident, you will blunder through life. It would help if you got rid of the idea of being better, superior, valuable, secure, or confident and instead had clarity and peace in your life. Ask, question, and look at everything calmly, patiently, and carefully. You can allow life to express itself and leave you with the clarity you need. What matters is not what you are and who you are, but how relevant you live and how meaningful you live your life. That's it. There is nothing to chase, be, or have. And what about kids? What can we do to build children's self-esteem? Be selfish by taking care of yourself first, and everything will fall by gravity. Children will pick up healthy self-esteem and confidence only from parents who show solid self-esteem and moral values. If parents choose thoughts, images, feelings of failure, and insecurity, children will be ready to pick that misery from them, too. So, I would first say to work on your self-esteem. Keep the balloon up and in harmony. Guide your children by helping them to get clarity, let them know about immoral behaviors, what is not appropriate for their lives, and what it is, but even if they did something wrong, don't make them feel bad. Remember, it is not the person, but the behavior that needs to be amended. Love corrects wrongdoings but never hurts feeling. Kids need to build, by themselves, an extraordinary life by feeling good and serving with love. They must understand that we will get abundance, happiness, and peace only by putting our grain of sand and accepting, committing, and resolving to make this world a safe and loving place. Self-esteem is not fixed, it must always be attended to and stimulated. Healthy esteem doesn't make us confident but makes us feel valuable and good about ourselves. Like everything in life, self-esteem is built and maintained through understanding, encouragement, and persistence, and if we don't keep the inertia alive, our self-value falls back. It is like having a balloon in our hands' palms. The balloon can be kept up as long as we raise our palms, and the more we raise our hands, the higher we keep the balloon, but once we stop pushing it up, since there is no inertia to keep the balloon up, it will fall. So, it is up to you to keep it up or let it fall down. Ultimately, the quality of our lives is up to each of us. Blaming others for not having the life we want or not having things we wish for is just proof of how immature we are, and how much we need to do to grow. The formula is simple and factual. When we choose to focus on negativity, it is what we attract, and when we decide to focus on positivity, it is what we also attract. It can't be, nor it will be, otherwise. So, we need to be honest with ourselves. Nobody can make us miserable or happy, successful or failures but our mental attitude, the positive or negative way we choose to view the world. Our existence will definitely change the moment we take responsibility for our life. Take action now, there is no such thing as the perfect time or right moment. And don't control others or expect people to change. Nobody can change anybody. People change for themselves, and only if they choose to change and improve their lives. All you need is to love yourself. Your acceptance is essential, acceptance of what you are and are not, of what you have and don't have. Just be you, it is perfectly okay. And being accepted is only personal, no one else's. You can't dispense your reputation and recognition to somebody else. If you don't accept yourself, nobody else will. Even though many think negatively of their bodies, the actual value, autonomy, and power are not in our physical appearance, but within each one of us, in our mind, moral values, and in loving actions, like kindness and gratitude, we express daily. Your body isn't an ornament, but a way of life designed to help you reach your possibilities. You are a unique and unrepeatable person for the simple fact of having been born. Have you told yourself that you are a bright, capable person and no other person is like you? How often have you told yourself that you are valuable, capable, loved, and important? Remember, what you think and believe is what you are. Appearance is not a guarantee of success, but a confident attitude certainly is. Being insecure makes even the most beautiful person vulnerable and an easy target for sexual predators. Please understand, your character and spirit don't need a perfect body. They need a confident attitude, a kind soul, and a grateful and loving heart. Feel gratitude for yourself and others. When there is gratitude in your heart, there is love, and nothing will be lacking. When you accept and feel gratitude for who you are, your physical and mental body, you will be the person you have been destined to be. I will repeat it differently. Nobody is an object or a label. We are simply human beings full of possibilities. You and I have the same rights, talents, opportunities, potential, and responsibilities as everybody else, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. When you compare it with what truly is in your heart, the only thing that remains is nothing but your own essence. There is nobody else to compare or nobody else to please. Then you can have peace with whom you are. Stop labeling yourself and others if you genuinely want to be happy and free. Erroneously, we think that the more we are, do, have, or become, the more respected, talented, and lovable we are. Your body listens to what your mind is talking about. Reject any toxic and negative thoughts towards yourself and others. Don't define your reach by the limits of your insecurities. In the mind, there is no insecurity other than what one imposes on oneself. Never let yourself or anybody else define you. Anybody. Did you hear? Discard any voice, internal and external dialogue, that tells you are not enough because you don't have or haven't become. You've always been, and will be, a being with many talents, virtues, and abilities. Dissolve your worries and efforts, not in the symmetry of your body, but in your physical and mental health, present achievements, and visions. Accept, praise, and value your body and your beauty for what they are, and not for the mold imposed on you. Be a genuine person and mainly your favorite person. Believe me, most people aren't putting you or themselves first. And again, feel good, be happy, and achieve everything you want is up to you, within your heart.